Say yes. Okay.
Because he was talking to a colleague of his.
Okay, thank you.
I have a trial starting on Wednesday. Trying to prepare one. Here, helping you guys.
But not always watching you guys.
No. Just pulling it off in the pocket.
All right. So test ready for signature?
Yes, Your Honor. Fields will ask the defense. This time, call any other officer to the stand. Proceed, Your Honor.
Of course.
Ma'am, please state your name for the record.
My name is Danielle Dawson.
Danielle, what is your occupation?
I'm a student at Midland Central University. I'm a senior.
Do you know why you're here?
Yes, sir. I'm being charged with murdering my friend.
Did you murder her?
Absolutely not. It was an accident. She wasn't supposed to die.
What happened?
We were celebrating her birthday, Vanessa was turning 21, and she decided to go to this bar. Her favorite band was going to be playing, and she asked me to celebrate with her.
Did she ask you anything else?
She did say that I might have to be the designated driver, but she wasn't sure.
Judge, you know what you're saying?
No comment.
All right, go ahead.
And this is not being offered for the truth of the matter, sir. The effect of that it had on the listener and their subsequent actions.
Your Honor, the state has a good faith belief that without an offer of proof as to what these subsequent actions are, that this is in fact being offered for the truth of the matter today.
Again, Ms. Dawson, did Vanessa Sullivan ask you anything else?
She said that I might have to be the designated driver, but she wasn't sure.
But did Vanessa Sullivan mention you being the designated driver any other time after that?
There were 2 weeks leading up to her, between the time that we talked and the time of her birthday, and she didn't say anything about it.
Walk the court through what happened on her birthday, what you did.
I got to Chubby's at around 2 o'clock. I had an interview earlier that day that just really gone badly. So I decided to just sit and wait and clear my head for Vanessa to get there. And I talked to JJ, the bartender, and it made me feel a lot better about how badly my interview had gone.
Do you remember what time Vanessa and Taylor arrived?
Yes, sir. They got there at 7, a little after 7.
And what did you all do after they arrived?
We all went and sat at a table very near the stage. And we were having a good time. We were talking, dancing to the music, and everybody had drinks.
So you were drinking?
Yes, sir.
Why were you drinking?
It was Vanessa's birthday, and no one had said anything to me about being a designated driver. And I even heard Taylor say that Taylor was going to drive. So
Judge, you know what you're saying?
Sure.
Again, this is not being offered for the truth of the matter, sir, but the effect that it had on Ms. Dawson and her subsequent actions, which were, if only not approved, were to continue drinking.
Your Honor, I stand by my objection that the state has a good faith belief that this is being offered for the truth of the matter. In order to prove that it was not in fact Ms. Dawson's fault that evening, that it is in fact not Ms. Dawson's fault for the events that occurred on September 24, 2010.
Again, Ms. Dawson, so you were drinking?
Yes, sir.
And why were you drinking?
No one told me that I was going to be the designated driver, and I even heard Taylor say that Taylor was going to drive. So I wasn't concerned about it.
So what happened next, Daniel?
Well, we started ordering drinks. We were just dancing and talking, having a good time. I decided to let Taylor and Vanessa catch up, so I walked away, and I went to the bar and I had a drink with Jamie.
Danielle, do you remember how many drinks you had that evening after Vanessa and Taylor arrived?
Yes, I had 5.
Now, at what point did you decide that it was time for you and Vanessa and Taylor to leave the bar?
It was around 12:45. I was looking for Taylor and Vanessa, and Taylor was stumbling around, and Vanessa had her head down on the table, and so that's when I realized it was time for us to go.
So what did you do?
Well, I got everybody together and led everybody to the car, to Vanessa's car in the lot.
And then?
Taylor started yelling at me about Vanessa's curfew, and I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know if Vanessa had a curfew or anything. And she was saying that there was no way that we were going to make it home in time. And Taylor was just so upset and so frantic.
Your Honor, this testimony has lapsed into a narrative.
I'm sorry.
This testimony has lapsed into a narrative.
All right, sustain.
Ms. Dawson, based on what you saw, how was Taylor Hobson acting?
He was yelling and just being very frantic. So I told him I would get them home in 10 minutes. And that's when I got everybody in the car and we started to drive away.
Now, why did you say that?
I just wanted Taylor to calm down. He was just yelling and slurring, and I couldn't understand what he was saying, and I just wanted him to calm down.
Okay, so let's move forward, Danielle. You're all in the car. What happened?
So I started driving, and it was pouring rain. It was just coming down really hard. And so I was trying to navigate Canyon Road, but it's pitch black pretty much. There are no lights on Canyon Road anywhere. The street curves without warning. I couldn't see a guardrail, and there are these trees that are really close.
Your Honor, this testimony has lapsed into a narrative.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Dawson, what did you see as you were driving down Canyon Road?
The street curves without warning. There are trees very close to it. There's nothing to protect the drivers on the street. There's no anything.
Was that your only problem in driving the vehicle?
No. Taylor just would not stop screaming and yelling. No matter how many times I asked, he just kept hollering and kicking my seat. And I'm trying to navigate, it's dark, it's pouring rain, and he just would not cooperate at all.
Okay, now after Taylor Hobson was distracted, what happened?
I was trying to navigate the street, but this curve came up that I couldn't see. There was no warning. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw something running towards the road. It looked like a deer. So I swerved to avoid it. But when I tried to get back on the road, I lost control of the car. And it just started spinning and spinning. And then we hit something. And everything stopped.
Do you remember what happened next?
I started screaming for Taylor and Vanessa. And Taylor responded, and I jumped out of the car to try and help. But Vanessa didn't say anything. She was already gone.
Danielle, did help arrive?
Yeah, somebody called the ambulance, and they got there, and they came to try and help Taylor and Vanessa, and the police arrived too.
Now, after the police arrived, what happened?
I tried to explain what happened. I was trying to tell the officer what happened, but he didn't listen to anything I was trying to say.
How do you know that?
District Attorney Sullivan showed up. And I tried to tell her I was so sorry. But she didn't want to hear it. She just made Officer Foster do these tests.
Speculation.
Witnesses testifying based on what they saw, their lay opinion, not testifying to the mindset of District Attorney Sullivan or Officer Foster.
Your Honor, the witness testified as to Ms. Sullivan, District Attorney Sullivan, making Officer Foster do something without any foundation as to how she can qualify such an explanation. This is in fact speculation.
The objection sustained.
Motion to strike, Your Honor.
Granted.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, after District Attorney Sullivan arrived on the scene, Danielle, what happened?
She was just yelling and screaming and blaming me. Like I'd done this on purpose. Like this was all my fault. And she said to Officer Foster that he should make me confess to
Objection, Your Honor, you're saying.
Your Honor, this is a recited utterance.
Your Honor, in that case, I would like to withdraw my objection to hearsay and raise a new objection.